Shh. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 89 of the Talk is Cheap show. Hope you're all well, healthy and COVID-free. Thanks to everyone today for tapping in. We truly appreciate your support. As you can see, we're live in the AFTV studios here in North London, and I'm excited to say that we have a great show lined up for you today. But before we do that, let me kick things off with our now obligatory introductions. Joining me as always to my left here, my co-host, resident expert analyst and good friend. The Judidas, the jocular, the joie de vivre, the je ne sais quoi. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is both my honor and pleasure to be able to introduce to you all none other than Mr. Curtis Shaw of Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
What an intro. You know what? I don't know what any of them words mean, but they sounded nice anyway.
Well, it basically means you're good, Curtis, and I'll second that.
When you said je ne sais quoi, I thought you'd turned into a PSG fan or something. I didn't know what was...
It's the Messi effect. But we're not done there with the introductions, because joining me to my right, we have on the Talk is Cheap show for the very first time, the legendary, the lovable, the long-standing, the long-established, the loyal, the man who is the very epitome of the super fan. A man, I might add, who is a friend of the stars. A man who gets name-dropped on national TV by the legends of the game. Men like Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's give a big digital round of applause for Mr. Arsenal, aka Clock End Tie. AKA Mr. Taiwo Ogunlabi, AKA Mr. Sky TV. Ladies and gentlemen, Ty in the house. What are you saying, bro?
Wow. Thank you very much. I don't know where to start with that, boy. I don't know if I deserve that, but thank you very much for the intro. Thank you very much, Curtis and Laurie, for inviting me onto the show, and just fantastic show. Just keep up the good work.
Respect, bro, respect. But before we go any further, I just want to say a quick shout out to Akeem, who I met in the gym a few weeks ago. He's a big fan of the show, big fan of Curtis's. Always nice. Watches, and yeah, man, he's a big fan. So keep supporting, bro. Respect. Okay, so actually, you know what? Before we go any further, this is your first time on the show.
Yeah.
Tell the people out there a little bit about yourself. Listen, don't take too long, you know, don't prevaricate. Tell us briefly a little bit about yourself.
Did you say
Yeah.
Prevaricate? I've never heard of that before.
He's making words up, I'm sure he is.
I've heard of procrastinate, but I've never heard of prevaricate.
Or that, what's up in that? Right, okay. Yeah, so a little bit about yourself and how you came to support us.
Right, okay. Well, I've supported Arsenal since I was 7. And basically, it was my dad, God rest his soul, and my brother used to support them. And that's how I got into supporting us. And I've never looked back.
You certainly haven't, man. You know,
and it's been absolutely fantastic. It's been an honor, a privilege, very humbling, very flattering. I've got to meet fantastic people like you, Curtis, and everyone on AFTV, Gooners in general, even the Arsenal staff that I've got to meet and like to think I know. You know, and travelling away from Arsenal, it's been amazing, because if I'm honest, without travelling with Arsenal, I wouldn't get to see enough of these places that I go, that I'm lucky, that I'm fortunate enough to go to.
But let's be honest, man, it's almost like you're becoming a star in your own right. Even the flies are attracted to it. Even the flies want to get close to you, right?
He wanted your signature on me.
That flight was so big, it was buzzing. Wow. Well, Laurie, you're
buzzing for having met you.
Yeah. You're too kind. I would say no. I don't know. I would say I'm a lucky star. I wouldn't say I'm a star. I would say I'm a lucky star.
I would say, don't you think he's one of the most recognised fans?
Definitely.
In Britain.
Wow.
Definitely.
I
up
would
there,
say so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you must.
That's massive.
You must get enough attention when you go on the road. You're going shopping.
Well,
you must get people randomly coming up to you wanting to take selfies.
Absolutely, which is
Girls
like I
want
said,
you to sign their brow strap and all that.
well,
you get all that?
No, I've never had that. So, but you know.
Okay, well, let's move on, man. Let's move on with what we call our news and notes segment of the show, and that is where we just look at any matters relevant to Arsenal and things that are topical. So what I thought I'd kick things off with this week is just by looking at our transfer activity, or as I like to say,
Or lack thereof. Although we have done some this week.
That's true. Having said that, I mean, I think I'm right in saying that currently we're the biggest official spenders, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
So it's cut off
Biggest.
this market. Yeah. Well, we're looking at the stats now. 129 million we spent. Nearest ones to us, Man United with 114 mil. City 100 mil. Chelsea 97.5. That's obviously Romelu Lukaku. Aston Villa 93 million and Leicester 55. So whether we've got good value for that is another matter. Right. So transfers. So as this show is going out, we now know that Martin Odegaard is now again officially an Arsenal player.
Which is good.
I just want to ask, I'm just going to keep it simple. Let's start with Ty. Are you excited about this signing? Or re-signing?
Absolutely. But all I would say is that because of the way he fitted in last season, he was a breath of fresh air, you know. He's very, very, very good. And it was a shame when he left. I just think that I think it's a superb signing, but I'm just wondering, couldn't it and shouldn't it have been done earlier?
Wow, so you're pretty unequivocal.
Yeah, because the thing is, we knew we needed these players. So my question is, it's nice that he's come in. Why wasn't he in sooner? And it's a shame we couldn't have signed him to play against Chelsea.
What would you say about some of the naysayers who said things like, you know, 1 goal and 1 assist? Is that enough?
1 goal and 1.
That was stats from last year, bro.
Well, listen, you can say that, but you know.
No, but that's fact. That's statistical fact.
Fair enough. But I thought when he came in, he gave the place, the club, the fans, us fans, a lift, and I thought he's very, very good. You know.
Okay. Curtis, are you effusive about this signing?
Do you know what? No, listen, I think for £30 million he's a good signing. He's 22 years of age, Norwegian captain.
Yes.
Like Ty said, he did fit into the team well last season. I do understand why some people are still questioning the signing, because I think people think there's a desperate need.
More than a few.
There's a desperate need for goals from our midfield. 6 goals from the whole of our midfield last year is not enough. When you think what Joe Willock did by himself in 6 months. Yeah. Like you said, 1 goal, 1 assist. You would hope that with a full season at the club, living here, knowing that you're signing on a permanent, he can settle and deliver more. I think we were a better team from January onwards when he came into the club with Smith Rowe in the team as well. So I think it's a good signing, but he does have to produce more in terms of that goal tally, I think. So. Yeah. And people will look at it, and obviously people were thinking Maddison was coming. And you look at those numbers, that's where people may be a little bit disappointed, but it doesn't surprise me because 30 million, that's going to suit Arsenal down to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
But he is a good player.
What do you say to those people who are saying that, listen, basically Odegaard was, because we didn't want to pay the money for Maddison, we went for the easy option. Do you think there's some truth, some validity in that statement?
I think we know with Arsenal that they like a bargain. And I think 30 million Odegaard will suit them a lot more than 60, 70 million on Maddison. I still think there are question marks whether Maddison was worth that much money, to be honest. He is a good player.
It's the so-called English tax, isn't it?
It's the English tax. I mean, listen, I think Odegaard, people said he was always the number 1 choice.
Yeah. Well, let me put you on the spot. If you're manager, who would you have preferred?
Listen, if money wasn't an object in the way, I've got to be honest, I would have gone Maddison because of the numbers.
I must admit, I would have gone Maddison. What about you, bro? I think I know what you're going to say.
I think Martin fitted in, but the thing is, Martin fitted in. It would have been nice to get both, but then...
No, Maddison, I'm sorry, you can't get both.
You can't get both. You can't get both, so the thing is, I probably would have gone for Maddison as well,
But you're happy with Odegaard?
I'm happy with him,
Okay, thanks. All right, moving on then. Aaron Ramsdale. Now, this seems to be causing some consternation amongst Arsenal fans. People are saying 30 million for a backup keeper is not where we should be going right now.
No, true.
Let's start this one with Curtis. What's your thoughts? I think I know what you're going to say.
Maybe you should have started with... Listen, this is what I want to say first of all. I saw that Aaron Ramsdale was getting some abuse on social media, which I think is disgusting.
And out of order.
Whether we think this guy is the right signing or not, he's a gooner. We got to support him.
Absolutely.
You know, apparently he's a boyhood Arsenal fan as well.
Which is a bonus.
In that sense, we have to back him 100%.
Absolutely.
If you're asking me the question, am I happy with the signing? It's not a signing I would have made. I got to be honest, for a few reasons. I think number one, for £30 million, I believe we could have signed a better goalkeeper.
Who?
Well, I think Areola, who went to West Ham, French international.
Is he available?
He's gone to West Ham from PSG on loan.
No, I mean, but he's gone.
Well, he's gone now, but he only went like 4 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
You know, obviously you've got Onana who's available from Ajax. I know he's got this ban, but he's a very highly rated keeper.
Yes.
Sam Johnson.
I heard that after he served out his ban, he's then off to the African Cup of
Nations. So there is a few issues there. And obviously Sam Johnston was available for about 15 million. I just think, and I hate to say it, I hate to talk about it, but 12 months ago we sold a top quality goalkeeper for £20 million in Emi Martinez, 15 clean sheets, Argentina's #1, just won the Copa America. A year later, you're signing a guy from Sheffield United who's had back-to-back relegations for 30 million. Now,
I think that's a bit unfair.
Well, no, I'm not.
Because I think, I know what you're saying. Statistically, it doesn't sound good, but come on now. The defence he had in front of him probably wasn't that good. And let's face it, he's probably getting a lot of work.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not saying the relegation is his fault, but he is a part of the relegation. You can't... I just think this is our most expensive goalkeeper of all time. Is he our best goalkeeper? Is he better than Leno? For me, I don't think Ramsdale is better than Leno. So if you're paying 30 million for a guy to sit on the bench, that doesn't make sense. So I think the club have bought him with a view to him becoming the #1.
I think so.
I think eventually Leno, I mean, there's talk that he may move on maybe next summer.
Leno has let it be known, hasn't he? Yeah,
he doesn't want to extend his contract.
Yeah, so I think that they do need to bring in another keeper. The problem is with goalkeepers, as you would appreciate, having played at the top level, when you bring in a keeper, you're basically asking him to sit on the bench because he's not going to get that much game time, especially if Arsenal being in Europe this year. Then his appearances are largely limited to cup.
Maybe,
and even then, you don't know how long those cup runs are going to last. So, I mean, listen, they had Matt Ryan there. I was surprised they allowed him to go so easily. That's because they didn't play him. So Ramsdale's going to have the same issues. Ty, what's your thoughts on it, bro?
Yeah, I agree with Curtis, but then...
But then what?
I agree with Curtis, but then, I don't know, it's a strange one. Like he says, we sold Emiliano for 20 and then we're buying Aaron now for 30.
Yeah, it's a strange word.
It's a strange one, but then like Curtis says, now that he is part of the club, I wasn't aware he was a gooner. We got to back him, and I think, I've along with you and Curtis, I've got to totally condemn the abuse, and it's just unbelievable that he's getting that abuse. Why? It's
unfortunately we live in that world, man, where it's quite sick out there. People get on social media and think that they can start abusing people, but that's a subject for a whole nother show. Let's move on then. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Arsenal captain and talisman. Some people would say former talisman. But he's been in the news a lot recently. I mean, after last week's debacle against Brentford, we were being told, well, you know, there were stories going around that, you know what I mean, Aubameyang might be leaving. He'd fallen out with the manager, and one or two other lurid stories were going on out there. Now we come to find out that he did have COVID. Quite why that news wasn't presented to the public long before, I don't know. But anyway, we know now that he had COVID or COVID symptoms, and that's why he missed last week's game. But some of the rumours will still persist about a fallout and all the rest of it. Let's start with Ty with this one. What's your thoughts on Aubameyang and all the stuff that's going on around?
Well, it's interesting that it seems like there was a lot of lies about, because from what I heard, I don't believe anything until I know it or believe it to be true. apparently him and Alexander were going off to Barcelona.
Yeah,
That was all the rumours. So, like I said, I don't know why it wasn't released that he had COVID, but it was just a lot of guff about nothing really.
So do you think his relationship with the manager is good, or do you think that, again, people are stirring things up and that everything's fine?
I think people are stirring things up. And I mean, I saw your brother on the station, which I won't name, this morning, and he was saying about how he had a bereavement in the family, He had a bereavement in the family.
He's lost, yeah. Well, not bereavement. I know he had his problems. His mum was
ill. And I just wonder, where is the empathy? Because we'll look at what this man has gone through. All right, he hasn't performed. He would know that. We all know that. But like your brother did say, how many seasons has he carried us on his back? Single-handedly, sometimes. But people want to forget that. All right, he didn't play well, lost. He'd admit that. But is there not mitigating circumstances?
Listen, man, I'm with you. I'm 100%, man. I'm Team ABBA all day long. Curtis, what's your thoughts on the situation, bro?
I mean, with the whole COVID situation, I think it's a little bit disappointing that the news came out so long afterwards, because that could have dispelled any rumours.
Absolutely.
I've seen him actually being criticised this week. He wants to go Barcelona.
Which is ridiculous.
This, that, the other. The guy's at home with COVID.
Yeah.
What I will say, and I hate to be critical of the manager, is the interview that he gave didn't really help the way he spoke about Lacazette and Aubameyang. He was kind of like, well, they said they're sick. Well, they are sick because they've got COVID. So now, I get the impression there was some pressure from TV broadcasters because Mikel Arteta said in the press conference he wanted the game called off. 4 players with COVID on the day of the game.
I think there's some guidance in it or rules.
Apparently there has to be, I think, 6 players have to be ill before the game can be called off, and we had 4. But I just think, all right, before the game, maybe you don't want to distract everyone by talking about the illness. But after the game, I feel like they could have let it be known. This is why they didn't play. Forget the transfer speculation. Because imagine if you're Aubameyang sitting at home, you've got COVID, and people are online going, oh, you're a sellout, you want to go Barcelona. I'd be like, I want my manager to stop that.
Yeah. So I would go even further than that. I would go as far as to say, if I'm Aubameyang and I'm seeing all what's being played out in front of me, I'm pissed off because I'm thinking inadvertently, Mikel Arteta and the club, by doing and saying what they've said, have kind of thrown him under the bus. Because that kind of led to all the speculation, didn't it? Oh, does he really want to stay anymore? Is he off to Barca? And people were questioning his attitude. And don't forget, that comes off the back of last season with the lateness. Remember when he got dropped for that game? He turned up late, and then there was speculation that his relationship with the manager isn't what it should be. So I would have been quite pissed off about that, to be honest. But it was very strange the way the club handled it. I'm sure they got their reasons, but it didn't put Aubameyang in the most favourable of lights, I have to say.
No.
Right, okay, thanks guys. Moving on now again. We have to do this. We have to go back a week or so and review the Brentford game. It's what we do on this show. It was first game of the new season. Arsenal away to Brentford in Brentford's new stadium. Brentford cock a hoop after their promotion. They were talking big and bold, man, was sticking out their chests and saying that they're going to do this and that. But to be fair to Brentford, man, they delivered on what they said they were going to do. It was always going to be a difficult game for Arsenal. But I have to say that after having watched it, it probably went, well, it was a bit of a disaster, really, wasn't it? Yeah. We lost 2-0. And it was very disappointing. Goals by, was it Sergio Canos after 21 minutes, Christian Norgard, the long throw-in, and that comedy of errors that led to the second goal after 73 minutes. And in the end, although he did have large spells of possession, it was a pretty resounding defeat. And of course, after the game, Arsenal got massacred, didn't they? Yeah. In the press. Your mate, Jamie Carragher, was very... made some very derogatory remarks.
Oh, really? What did he say then?
He said that we were weak, we were bullied.
Well, after game 1?
We didn't have any passion. Yeah, well, exactly, yeah.
Game 1?
Yeah, game 1.
I reckon you're going to have to drop him a text later, mate, say what's going on.
So the aftermath was fairly conclusive. It was fairly damning, man. Arsenal being universally condemned.
But when isn't it? Sorry to interrupt, Laurie. When isn't it?
Yeah, that's
when
true.
Isn't it? So, I'm sorry, but I can't listen to that.
Yeah,
I don't agree with my mate Jamie.
You need to have a chat with him. Man.
I do. I don't agree with that. They're obviously mitigating circumstances.
Yeah.
Also,
but I'll come to you in a minute. I just want to start with Curtis. So 2-0, but let's be honest, man, we were well beaten on the night. And as I said previously, the condemnation after the game was almost universal. I just want to say, what was your thoughts? Now you've had a few days to think about it.
Yeah, a few days to calm down.
Because I remember I went on your live stream afterwards and you were the picture of dejection, right?
Yeah.
You were thinking, wow, this is terrible.
I think you know what it is. When you start a new season, you've always got that new hope, that new expectation, a few new players, new kit, new season. You all start on zero. So you think, right, where can we finish? A lot of people looked at Brentford as a very difficult game and hard. You know, I looked at it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
I looked at it as a newly promoted team. You need to impose yourself on them and say, listen, this is a level above what you've played in before. We can win that game, go top of the league, first game. We played, 24 hours before everyone else. Obviously, we had no Gabriel, no Partey. We lost Aubameyang and Lacazette. That will affect any team. They have 4 key players that I think would have made the difference. Having said that, I felt there was a lack of desire, a lack of fight. I think I felt like Brentford almost wanted it more than us. That's what hurt me. Now, it's harsh to say that to a player that it felt like you didn't want it enough, but the goals felt too easy. Look at that second goal, long throw, bounces, the goalkeeper. I mean, to be fair, I think Leno is being blocked by the striker.
Yeah, but did he show enough desire?
I mean, listen, it's still a foul, but my issue more was with the defending. How can a ball be bouncing on the edge of the 6-yard box? We got, Pablo Mari's 6'3", go and head the ball. The 2 Brentford players are fighting each other to score at the back post. If he
That's
don't
what struck me about that goal.
You know what I mean?
We had our 2 defenders sort of like that. Meanwhile, the 2 Brentford guys were almost nutting each other to try and get on the end of it.
Yeah.
And Ben White was kind of rooted to the spot, like looking.
I have to say one thing. A lot of people, like we just said, have been speaking about Aubameyang and is he still this guy? No disrespect to the players that played, but you got a bit of a reality check there as to what life could be like without Aubameyang.
Yeah,
so I think we need to appreciate what he actually is rather than...
some respect on that man's
I'm telling
name.
you, man.
Absolutely.
But it was Friday the 13th and it kind of played itself.
Couldn't have gone any worse.
No, it couldn't have gone any worse. No.
To be honest with you, it couldn't have gone any worse. But listen, my boy Ty's in the house. What was
He
your
was at the
assessment
game.
on the
So,
He was at the game,
you were
wasn't
at the game.
I was fortunate enough to be at the game. Yeah.
So what was the atmosphere like, bro?
Yeah, it was a good atmosphere. I mean, we only got 1,725 tickets, so that's hardly anything. Yeah. But it's a nice stadium. I've got to agree with Curtis, but I would say there is mitigating circumstances, and I think Curtis, if I can get my words out, has summed it up perfectly.
Yeah.
There was no Alexander, but let's forget about Alexander. There was no Pierre, and that's what life could be like if he was to be out for amount of time, or I hope he doesn't. God forbid, in football terms, leave. So yeah, it was me.
But you know what? I want to say this, and this is kind of something that underpins this show this week. Is that after the game, and there was all the fan cams going on, everyone saying Arteta out, we're shit, this, that, rare, you know what I mean? There's a lot of negativity being thrown around.
Yeah.
But you said something in your fan cam that I was thinking at the time. I actually said it on Curtis's stream as well. Yeah. After the game, you said something that resonated with me. Yeah. When you was telling people, listen, it's only one game.
Absolutely.
Calm down. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know.
It was a terrible start. I get that. You know what I mean? I was disappointed. We're all disappointed. But you have to put things into context.
Absolutely.
We had the pullouts.
Yes.
We had the injuries with Partey and people like that. Key players in the team. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, there's no excuse for players that did play for not showing enough passion and desire and energy. Yeah, it's the first game of the season. And come on now, it's not rocket science. You know what Brentford were going to bring to the table. They were pretty much telling us that before the game. Ivan Toney was like, he was acting like this was a world title fight. You know what I mean? That's the way he was talking. He was talking wicked. And to be fair, he did back it up.
Well, I don't know if he
backed
it. Sorry. I don't know if he backed it up. I don't know if he backed
it. He was man of the match.
Yeah, but I didn't see him have one shot on target. So
No, yeah, I do actually agree. I didn't think he was man of the match, but I thought he had a good game.
He had a good game, but
And he did cause our defenders a lot of problems.
Yeah,
but the point I'm trying to make is the fans, the neutrals, everybody was saying that this is going to be a hard game for us.
of course, we knew that.
The fact that we never turned up mentally and physically was very disappointing to me.
But
I would say that you said something that I was thinking, it was the same sentiment I had.
Yeah.
It's only one game.
Yeah.
Calm down. So explain to us why you said that.
Well, I said that because of the overreaction. Now, the overreaction I can understand.
Yeah.
I'm not dissing the overreaction, I can understand. But I was thinking that if we're going to take things into perspective, we've got to forget about last season, however bad it may have been or it was. And we've got to start again. That's what I thought. And, and obviously, like I said, there is always an overreaction. So the thing is, I never ever listen to overreactions. And I mean overreactions from outside the club.
But I think it's fair to say that your glass half full, aren't you? In fact, the whole glass is full.
The water's spilling over the top.
I mean, you're well known for your defending of Wenger. Like you were when everyone else when everyone else was pretty much chasing him out of the club, you were still saying,
which there was no need.
So you're well known for your optimism and your loyal. I described you as the super fan.
Super lucky.
You're loyal to the extreme, some would say.
Well, that's fine.
Some would say you're deluded. Not me. Deluded type. But I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, no, they can try and call me that, but I'll say.
I think they have called you that.
Well, they can try, but the thing is, I'll say to you, like I say to them, you can only call me deluded when you do more than me. And you can never do it. So when you do more than me, fair enough. If you don't, then you can't.
They don't call him Sky Sports Ty for nothing, man. I'm telling you.
No, but you know what? I get that, man. I get that. I like your positivity and the way you get behind the team.
Thank you.
And listen, we know it's no act. That's how you are.
No, that's how I am. But
that's how you are, man.
If you saying, I was just saying that let's put things, like you said,
into perspective.
And let's look at it as a first game. And also, look at Alexander and look at Pierre. If they were there, would it be different? I think it would have been. But like you said, we always knew it was going to be a tough, difficult game. Obviously, it doesn't excuse that we didn't turn up. Fair enough. But we have got to allow the team to move on from what happened last season and hopefully come again and hopefully judge the team on hopefully this season's performances.
Okay. Right. Okay. So we've heard what Ty has to say. So you're saying overreaction, and that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah,
I know last week
I think so.
you were saying outrage, and it was justifiable. Now you've had a few days to think it over. Are you still coming from that same standpoint, or do you think the fans are right to be throwing shade at the team and saying, "Look, this is not good enough, it's unacceptable"?
I think I agree with what Ty's saying. It is the start of a new season. It's very hard to let go of what happened previously when it's under the same regime. I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
If it was a different manager or something, but you're kind of thinking. Well,
something tells me that you're not fully sold on this manager.
No, not quite there yet.
Something tells me that you're not quite having it.
Do you know what? I saw a stat, for example. Now, we had players missing against Brentford, but Pepe is worth more than the entire Brentford squad.
He was disappointing.
And that's just him by himself. When you chuck in Leno, Ben White, Xhaka, you think we still probably got £200 million worth of players on the pitch. True. And I think a lack of fight and effort is the thing that you can't accept at Arsenal Football Club.
I agree.
Listen, I think a lot of factors are being added into that. I think, number one, it's last season. Number two, it's the transfers. And number three, it's the fact that you look at who we're playing in the next two games. When you start a new season, the thing you're desperate for is get 3 points on the board as quickly as possible. You need to win that first game. Now, we've got an international break after the third game, the Man City game. So you've got 2 weeks to just stew on whatever. There's nothing worse than losing before the international break.
Yeah.
We're looking at it now going, if we don't sort ourselves out in these next two games, we could be 3 games in with no victory or maybe even no points, which this early on in the season, when you've spent the money that we've spent, you're going to be like, well, where are we going with this? You know, so...
But it has to be said, I mean, City lost at the weekend. I didn't hear nobody saying that.
But City are champions of the country. You know, I'm pretty sure City lost early last season as well.
It can happen.
Yeah. It can happen.
It can happen.
I just think, you know, if we'd have lost that game and their goalkeeper made 4 great saves, we hit the post twice, it was just one of them nights, nothing went in. Sometimes you've just got to accept that. It was the fact to me, I looked at that and I thought that was too easy for Brentford.
So you're saying justifiable outrage?
Do you know what it is? I don't think there should be outrage, but I think we're right to ask questions.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, this is a big football club. We've just finished 8th 2 years in a row, which isn't acceptable for a club of our size. We're the top spenders in the league this year. I think we're within our right to say we want to see a lot of improvement. You know, the manager's had time now. He had that full pre-season that he asked for. So time will tell. I suppose we've got to be patient, but at the same time, we do have a right to question it.
I must admit, I'm going with Ty a little bit on this one. I after the game, I was very disappointed, and I made that clear on your stream. It was unacceptable performance. But all things being considered, especially when you hear in the aftermath what happened with the COVID and stuff like that, it is just a one game. And let's be honest, and I know what Curtis is going to counter me by saying no pressure FC, but if you look at the way we finished last season, where we had the
pressure FC.
you know, we had the 5 wins on the bounce.
Yeah.
Things were looking good. We didn't have a very good pre-season. I think that's fair to say, especially people like Aubameyang didn't even score in pre-season.
No, we didn't.
But, you know, it happens.
Should have done.
It is what it is. We lost that game, but then we have to look forward. And that segues very nicely onto the next segment of the show.
As we look forward, all I can see is a big picture of Romelu Lukaku.
Because this weekend, we set to go again. See, that's the beauty of football, isn't it? You know what I mean? Just as you're in the midst of depression, along comes another game. And if we get things right, man, not too many people will be talking about Brentford if we can put in a performance worthy of the name and get a win. So, so this weekend then, man, our first home game of the season, massive game. London derby against our West London rivals, Chelsea. I mean, it's always a big game, but I think it's fair to say that this game is bigger than most of them, isn't it? Let's be honest. Because if we get turned over at home on Sunday to Chelsea, it could get a bit dicey. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
This game's a massive game. But you know what? I'm kind of, now I'm hearing certain things. I mean, obviously, it's unlikely that Aubameyang will play, but at least we know what's going on now. So that's kind of, you know, made me feel a little bit calmer. But having said that, man, Chelsea are coming off the back of a very impressive 3-0 win against Crystal Palace, managed, of course, by former Arsenal legend Patrick Vieira.
The legend.
So he didn't get off to the best of starts either. So they got that in the bag. And on top of that, they've just signed Romelu Lukaku. I bet he's salivating at the mouth, waiting to face Arsenal.
I hope he is. I hope he is. Because if they get beaten, he can salivitate off the
He's probably looking at Ben White and Mari and say, food.
Well, listen, Laurie, listen.
Listen, I'm only saying what he's saying. I'm not saying it, bro.
The thing is, Laurie, I hope you are saying that. Because like Curtis said, I like that line, no pressure FC. What happened last season? When Chelsea were rolling up? I know there was no crowd. We beat them 3-1. And then their fans were talking, saying we're going to be... And then when we played them at Stamford Bridge, their fans were talking again. And what happened? The thing is now, I wouldn't say the pressure's off, but nobody's expecting anything. And the thing is, we know with us, when we're not expected to do anything, that's when we do things. So I think
that's a fair assessment.
And I think this game is coming perfectly.
No,
possibly not. Possibly not. But I think this game is coming perfectly in that.
So you think the timing's right?
Absolutely.
For a game like
I
this?
mean, I was watching. I won't name the show on the channel today. I only saw a bit of it. And John Hartson, our former player, was saying how he can only see a Chelsea win, and he said he's all Arsenal. Really, is he? Is he, John? That's news to me, but fair enough if that's what he said. But you know, and I like that. Nedum Anua was on there as well. He probably said Chelsea, and I like that because everybody's writing us off, and that's fine. That's fine.
Right.
That's fine. That's fine.
Curtis.
But Curtis is different because Curtis is actually in the club. So if you're in the club, it's different than when you're out of the club. And also, we also must remember this goes back to even up to when we won our last trophy. we beat Chelsea 2-1 and nobody gave us a prayer. So I like that, so that's fine. That's fine, I'm happy because it looks like history repeating itself again, hopefully, to me.
Well, you do make a good point there because recently our form against Chelsea has been pretty good. I mean, we beat them home and away last season.
Yeah.
And I think I'm right in saying in the last 5 games we played against Chelsea, I think we won 3 of them and drawn 1. So we only lost the 1 game.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, of course we had that famous
FA Cup
final win, courtesy of who?
Pierre.
So, you know what I mean?
Pierre-Emerick.
But unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to be around to play this weekend, which is unfortunate. But then you never know. You know. But anyway, Curtis, what's your thoughts on the Chelsea game, man?
I mean,
Ops of the week, Chelsea.
I mean, listen, like Ty says, it's an opportunity. Everyone's questioning us, our backs against the wall. Yep. What I will say, with the home fans back, the players are going to have to show some fight.
Yes.
That is the minimum. Go out there and have a real, scrap with them in a footballing sense, of course. Chelsea shouldn't just roll up to town and think, we're just going to beat Arsenal. It shouldn't work.
They did that last year.
And they got
smacked. Well, they did, so
and it cost them. And in fact, I would go as far as to say that it was that Boxing Day win against Chelsea that precipitated the downfall of Frank Lampard at Chelsea. Because if you notice the trajectory of their results after that game went downhill.
We probably did them a favour if you look at how their season went.
Some Chelsea fans might say that. Yeah.
So, but no, I think it will be a tough game.
It will be.
Because I think Lukaku is a brilliant signing. Whether he'll start or not, because he hasn't had a pre-season. I think he's only been training for 5 days.
Yeah. He's on the record as saying he wants to be involved.
Yeah. Listen, he did an interview and he was quite respectful of Arsenal. He said, big club, they're rebuilding. It will take time. He
said all the nice things.
Said all the nice things, but
fair enough.
I think what my issue is obviously with no Gabriel, no Partey, no Lacazette. I don't think Aubameyang's available. Odegaard apparently is not able to play either.
No, he did sign in time.
He hasn't
got a visa or something.
Hasn't got a visa. So, it's just, my issue is where are the goals going to come from? How are we going to create the chances to beat them?
Tell us, for the benefit of the people out there, what kind of team would you like to see?
I think Saka's got to come back in.
Yeah.
I think he's got to start now. He's been back, I think, 2 weeks. I think he's got to come back in because
give us your 11 for the game.
My 11. So I'll go Leno in goal. I would actually take Callum Chambers out at right back, and I'll probably bring. See, I think Pepe plays better with Cedric. Personally, than Chambers or Bellerin. I actually think Ainsley.
I think most people play better without Bellerin.
Here we go. I would actually go Cedric or Ainsley at right back. I would go with one of them two, a bit quicker as well. Tierney at left back.
Yeah.
I mean, at centre back, you got to go Ben White and then
add one other.
Then one other, Pablo Marie or Rob Holding. I don't know which one really.
Marie's been having a bit of a shocker. He didn't have a good pre-season, and then last week he did look pretty ropey. And then when you factor into that equation, he's likely to come up against Lukaku.
Yeah, but then what I would say that what I would say that did he get the protection? Because you saw last week Ben and Pablo, they were exposed. People are always going to expose if there's no protection. Yeah. There's got to be cover. So
who would you like to see provide that cover?
Well, obviously Thomas, but he's injured, isn't he?
Yeah. So who are you going to go with?
So, I'm not sure.
I think really, we've only really got Xhaka and Sambi Lokonga. I don't think El Neni would play.
No, he wouldn't. It's going to be Granit
it's going to have to be Granit and Lokonga.
Albert and Granit,
play them two.
I don't think he will.
You think he'll bring El Neni and then go extra?
I think he might.
Do you think so? So
because I think with Chelsea, I think they may look at it like they need to, like you say, offer that element of protection. And let's face it, experience.
Yes, absolutely.
El Neni, say what you want about El Neni in terms of his skills as a footballer, but in terms of his application and his hard work and commitment, you can't question that.
No, you can't.
And game like this
would be,
I would imagine this could be a low-scoring game. It's going to be quite tight, quite cagey early, especially early on. I don't think Arsenal are going to go out and be expansive.
We're not. But then I'll
keep it tight.
I could see El Neni featuring in this game, man. I really could.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think with the front four, I'll go Saka and Pepe out wide.
So you'd retain Pepe?
Yeah, retain.
I thought he was disappointing. And listen, I put my cards on the table. I'm Team Pepe, man. I like the guy. I think in terms of ability and talent, he's probably the most talented footballer, natural footballer at the club.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there are games, and Brentford was one last week, where he just wasn't on it, man. He wasn't aggressive enough. He never took the game to the opposition enough. I mean, they had that guy played for Brentford, Mbuemo, the French guy. That was the type of thing I was expecting to see.
He
Pepe.
ran at Tierney every time he got the ball.
Yeah,
and they knew they were in a game, man.
That's true, Laurie.
That's what I wanted. I wanted to see Pepe be on the front foot, be proactive, and go for it.
Yeah, of course you do, Laurie.
Draw fouls. Get in the opposition's box. Make things happen. He was too passive.
No, Laurie,
too passive.
You are right. But one thing I would say on Nicholas's behalf is that they always double up against him.
I didn't notice that.
They always do that, and that's the thing. They always
so if they always do that, by extension, my question to you is, well, you're expecting it then.
Yeah, no, but look at the team we had. That's what I mean. If we had Alexander, we had Pierre, it's going to be a different story because then you've got 3 focal points, haven't you? Yeah. I agree. Nicholas should have done more. He should have done more, and I think the best thing he did was a save from Areola or something.
Yeah.
Towards
the end.
Oh, no, sorry. I don't know. That's not the Brentford.
But you see, the reason for my disappointment is because there's games like that, especially with Aubameyang and some of the other senior players not being there.
He should.
I expect him
take the
lead and say, listen, these men are out, but you know what? I'm going to stamp my authority on this game.
No, absolutely.
And he never came close to it. He wasn't aggressive enough. He was passive. Like I said, there were several times in that game he received the ball and you see him look back and then pass it and think, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make an impact. You know?
Yeah, no.
And then I'd go Martinelli up front.
Do you reckon he's fit enough now?
I think he probably is. Because even though he was at the Olympics, he didn't play that much. Apparently, he had a break between the season and the Olympics.
I saw him score a wicked penalty, though.
Yeah, that was a good penalty.
Fantastic.
Forget about that. I have to say, he was another one last week that disappointed me.
Yeah, but was he, like I said, was he really fit? Would he have really played? If Alexander Pierre, he probably would.
That goes to the heart of the matter, my point.
Yeah.
He's another one. Aubameyang and Lacazette are not there. He should be saying to himself, right, you know what?
Yeah.
I am going to make an impression on this game. So when those guys do come back, I'm going to make it hard for the manager to drop me, or at least I'm going to give him that option and say, well, listen, if those two ain't firing. But last week he didn't make that claim. Neither did Balogun. And listen, I'm trying not to be too harsh. They didn't score, but even in terms of their energy levels and their commitment, I didn't really see that much.
Did they get any service?
Am I being unfair?
Listen, I don't think we did well in attack, but I don't think we helped them either.
No. Yeah,
if you've got a young guy on the left, a guy making his debut through the middle, you need your Xhakas and players like to get the ball to him, help him.
Exactly.
But did he demand the ball? Did he say, give it to me?
I don't think Balogun had a chance in the whole game, really. He didn't have anything. I didn't see anything. I think that was a tough game to be an attacking player in that team. You know?
No, you make a good point, but maybe it's just part of my overall disappointment. Right, listen, I've got to ask you your predictions, and given that Ty is our guest, and I know how he likes to prevaricate, procrastinate.
I'm going to look up prevaricate. I've never heard of that before.
Right,
it's great.
So, give me your prediction for the game and why.
Right, okay.
Don't just say, we're going to win because we're Arsenal. Give me the reasons why you think we'll.
That's good, I like that. Well, hopefully it's going to be 2-0.
Not hopefully. Do you believe that?
Of course, I believe it because.
So tell me why you believe.
I believe it because once again we're in that position. Like Curtis said, no pressure. We're in that position where nobody is giving us a chance, and this is the type of game that we will flourish in because everybody outside the club are expecting Chelsea to just turn up and roll us over. And I'm hoping that Chelsea believe that because last season they did. When they turn up, I know there was no fans there. And like Curtis said, fans will add an extra element and that will be more on our side. But I'm thinking that...
But by the same token, you say that, and I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
If we get 10, 15 minutes in and we're not looking too good and Chelsea have scored, those same fans you're talking about, it's quite likely that they might turn. Do you not think?
Absolutely. But then that's what I mean. But that's where the pressure comes from. So then whatever it is now, like you and Curtis are saying, we have to turn up. We have to. It's our first home game. We have to turn up.
Yeah.
So, because it's like history repeat. It's like to me, it's like history repeat. I'm sure that's the song. History repeating itself. I'm very confident because we've been in this position so many times, and we've always been underestimated, especially against Chelsea. And their fans are always talking. They always talk, and we all know what happens. So that's what I think. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you and Curtis. I know it's going to be a very, very, very difficult game. But like you two are saying, if we cannot, whatever team we have, not be up for this game against Chelsea at home, our first home game of the season, then we're going to have to ask serious questions about the players, about the club, and what direction we're going.
Okay, very well articulately put there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Your prediction for the game, your honest prediction, and I don't just want you to stop at the prediction. I want you to provide a little narrative as to why you think the game will play out that way. You got to be quick though, bro.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I hope we can get a result. Hope being the operative word. I just feel like with everything that's going on. I mean, listen, if Aubameyang's in the squad, that would make a big difference, even if he was on the bench, to have a weapon like that.
Yeah.
But at the moment, we're not sure whether he will. If he's not, I think we'll fall just short, if I'm being honest. And I hate to predict against my own team.
No, you're being honest.
I just think Chelsea, they've won 3-0. Kante's back, Lukaku comes in. I just think, and I don't think this manager will allow them to do what Lampard did. Lampard was very casual last year, as if he thought he was just going to roll us over. I don't think. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Chelsea. But I hope, I hope we get a result. But if you're asking me to give you my honest prediction,
I am. And to be fair to you, you've given your honest assessment. I must say, with myself, I'm going to go with tie. And for the reasons that you articulated as well. I think last week was a disaster. Couldn't really have got any worse. But then that's the beauty of football sometimes. You know what I mean? You get written off. People are finished, thinking that you're finished. It's over, it's done. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you produce a performance worthy of the name. And I think that the guys are going to dig in this week. I think it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be cagey. I don't think Arsenal will be expansive or look to elaborate too much. But I do fancy that. I'm going for a 1-0. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I'm going for Arsenal 1-0. I'm hoping maybe Martinelli or Pepe, one of them, turn up.
All right.
And, you know what I mean? And get some positivity going into the season. Because we know the Premier League, man, it's an unpredictable type of league, isn't it?
It is.
You can see one team, they're dreadful one week, and next week they pull a result out of the bag. You think, how did that happen? So maybe I'm hoping against hope, but that's what I think. So you're going for 2-1, was it? 2-0?
2-0. Well, hopefully you're not hoping against hope, Larry, but like you and Curtis said, the fact that we are there, because remember, the last home game was against Brighton. We haven't been in there for a long time, and the fact that a lot of our fans there will also help the team as well.
Yeah, I think that's I mean, there is a protest plan before.
There is.
That's still going ahead.
I'm
not so sure if a protest is what is needed at this time. Although I do have empathy with the fans' concerns. But I'm not sure if a protest is before this game.
But then when do you do it?
Well,
there's no right time. I just think fans are disgruntled.
But yeah, you know what? I do hear that, but I'm not sure if this game would be the right time for that. But hey, it is what it is. Fans have their opinions. They have the right to express them. So be it. But in terms of the game itself, you're going to, was it 2-1? And I'm going 1-0 for Arsenal. So we'll see how that turns out. So thanks for that, guys.
Thank you.
And I have to say that now we're coming to the end of the show.
Wow.
I must say I've really enjoyed the show. Really enjoyed having Ty on, man.
Thank you very much.
It's been an honour and a pleasure.
Well, it's been very humbling. It's been flattering and a privilege to be on
Clock-in Ty, a.k.a. Mr. Taiwo Ogunlabi, a.k.a. Sky Ty. Which one of those do you prefer?
Which one does Carragher call you?
My mate Ty.
I mean, it's my mate Ty. Which one do I prefer? Anyone that's got lucky. One part of it.
So when you get rushed in the local Tesco's while the group is? What do you prefer them to call it?
Well, that's never happened.
He's been very modest there.
Yeah.
But no, listen, man, enough respect. Thanks for coming.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Great show.
Boy,
Thank you very much.
Curtis, man, as usual. Tell the people they can find you on social media.
Curtis Shaw TV, people, daily uploads. Getting good numbers on there, man. Big up for all the support.
You know me, I'll support your content and watch your content. And
absolutely.
I'm not just saying this because you're here and I know you well, but it's proper stuff.
Yeah.
You watch his content.
Absolutely. Hopefully I will be on there soon. I think the last time I was on there, I think I was
the Emirates.
Yeah, I was talking about, I managed to get in under pressure by Queen featuring David Bowie, didn't I?
What about you, bro? Have you got any social media accounts?
Yeah, absolutely. Clock end time.
Clock end time, yeah.
On Instagram.
Are you going to start up a YouTube channel at some point?
I don't know. But
notwithstanding, the work you do for us, I just want to say on behalf of the channel, man, you're a stand-up guy.
Oh, thank you very much.
No, seriously, the work you do for the channel,
which I'm lucky enough to do. Oh, thank you very much.
Really something special, man. Seriously.
Well, listen, Curtis, Laurie, it's been an honor. It's humbling, a privilege to have any part of AFTV. Wow, it's just incredible. So, respect. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thanks you guys for tapping in. We truly appreciate your support. Keep the show interactive. Send us your comments. Give us your opinions on what you think we've discussed today. Do you agree? After the game last week, there was outrage. Do you think that was justifiable? Or do you think, like me and Ty, that there was an overreaction? How do you think the game will go this week? Do you think we'll bounce back and get a win over Chelsea, or at least get a result? Or do you agree with Curtis that it might prove a stage too far and we're probably in for another defeat? Let us know, man. Like, share, subscribe. Keep watching the channel as well, AFTV. Shout out to all the man them involved. And we'll see you all next week. Respect.
Peace.